Hi guys, if you have kids and you're wondering what shoes they should be wearing, then this video is for you. Hi everyone, it's me, Dr. Nooreen, your resident foot and ankle specialist, and welcome back to my channel. So you guys, if you have watched any of my other videos, probably seen one or two where I mentioned that adults need to have rigid supportive shoes. However, that is not true for kids. So a lot of parents might worry because their kids' feet are flat or they start to walk on their tippy toes. But for a lot of kids, this could be normal until about the age 5 or 6. Now, if your child is complaining of pain or you feel like there might be something else going on, go see your local podiatrist and have it checked out. So from when you're born to when you start walking and developing as a toddler, your lower limbs go through a lot of changes. They internally rotate, they externally rotate, and they really change the way they're positioned as you grow older. And because of that, kids need shoes that are more flexible because as a child grows, the orientation of their lower limbs is changing, and you want shoe gear that's going to allow and accommodate those changes to happen. So for kids, you want their shoes to be flexible and not rigid. So child's shoe needs to be flexible to allow that growth and changes to develop. For children, the optimal foot development happens in more of a barefoot environment. Now, whereas for adults, shoes provide a little bit more support and stability, for children, shoes are just there for protection from the outside environment and for potential infection. So the shoes aren't there to provide the child's foot with support because their foot is changing and growing, and you want to allow that foot to change and grow the way that it's supposed to. So next, you guys, we're going to talk about age-specific shoe recommendations for your kids. So the first category we're going to talk about are infants, and infants are babies under a year old, so 12 months or younger. Now, for these babies, they do not need shoes. For these guys, all you need is a comfortable pair of socks or even bare feet. So for these cuties, you don't need shoes at all, just a warm pair of socks or bare feet. The next age group we're going to talk about are toddlers, which are from 1 year old to 3 years old. And usually babies start walking around 1 year old. And when your child is walking regularly and by themselves is when you might want to start thinking about getting shoes for them. When your baby is walking in the house, you don't need shoes for that scenario. At this age, all shoes are doing are providing protection from the environment so that they don't accidentally step on something and something goes into their foot, or they don't hurt themselves or their feet. At this point in their life, the kids just need these shoes for outside as protection. Alright guys, so next we're going to talk about tips for shopping for kids' shoes and what you should be looking for when you go shopping for your kids that are 1 to 3 years old. Take your child shopping with you. Try those shoes on your child at the store, and if they complain of any type of discomfort, don't get that shoe. You want to make sure that the shoe fits your child properly, and these shoes should be flexible. They should not be rigid. They should fit the child snugly but not tight. You want to make sure that the end of the child's longest toe and the end of the shoe are anywhere from 1 to 1.2 centimeters apart. So you want to have at least a centimeter gap between the end of your child's longest toe and the end of the shoe. Now you can buy high top shoes for toddlers that may have trouble keeping their shoes on, and they should have ample forefoot width to avoid crowding, because again, you want to give that room enough space to grow and develop the way that it's going to. You want to make sure you always measure both feet and fit the shoes to the larger foot. You want to make sure you check your child's shoe size often because they can grow out of them as quickly as 2 months because they grow so fast. And don't use hand-me-down shoes because one, there's a chance of a fungal or a wart infection and you don't want that. And two, because each child has their own individual wear pattern in their shoe, and if another child then wears that shoe that has already had another child's wear pattern kind of embedded into it, that could cause the second child wearing the shoe to have undue tension and stress placed on certain parts of their feet because of the wear pattern that's been built into the shoes that the first child was wearing. Another thing you want to do when shopping with your kids is take them with you and make sure you go towards the end of the day, so that's when their feet are going to be most swollen and that's when you're going to get the best fit for their shoes. The other thing you want to look out for is kids tend to have, especially in the toddler age, tend to have chubbier feet feet on the top of their foot, like the dorsal aspect of their foot tends to be chubbier or a little fatter. So you also want to make sure that the shoes you're getting accommodate that, a little extra chubbiness if your kids do have that. Alright guys, so those are some of my tips for looking for shoes for toddlers and infants, which that was a trick question because infants shouldn't be wearing shoes. Just a pair of socks or barefoot is more than enough. And some of my favorite brands for toddlers are Boba, Penny Pen, Momo Baby, and Robies. Alright guys, so if you have any questions about the shoes or the recommendations I talked about in today's video, leave those questions in the comment section down below. And if you have questions or concerns about your toddlers or infants' feet, please definitely go see your local podiatrist. And you guys, I hope you found this short little video helpful and informative. And let me know what you guys want me to talk about next week. Alright guys, don't forget to stretch and subscribe, like this channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!